We will soon be able to get Dynamax Legendaries within Max Battles in Pokémon GO. And I'm actually really excited about this because when it comes to Max Battles and the Dynamax system, Niantic has needed to do something to get players actually interested in this system. And I really do think introducing legendary Pokémon in the Dynamax system is definitely one of the ways they could get a lot of players on board. Alright, how's it going everyone? Jinsula here with a brand new Pokemon GO video. I hope your day is going really well, and let's get right into it. Alright, so you heard that right in the beginning of this video. Dynamax Legendaries are now going to be in Pokemon GO. I really do think this was a very bold and smart decision because when it comes to Dynamax Battles, it was something that not a lot of players were on board with in the beginning, and it's taken a while to get a lot of players interested. I think the introduction of Gigantamax Pokemon was certainly something that generated a lot of hype, but overall I feel like the general player sentiment around Max Battles is that it is basically a side activity that players just generally do not care about. And I really do think there was something Niantic needed to do. Regardless of what that could have been, I was kind of predicting that they would have Gigantamax Pokemon as Pokemon you could use within raid battles to have some sort of boost like Mega Evolutions, but instead they're just doubling down with the Max Battle system and having Pokemon that might actually be useful in other forms of content. And I really do think introducing legendary Pokemon has a lot of benefits. I will get into that later, but real quick, let's talk about the details for how you could obtain these Dynamax Legendaries. Alright, so the first legendaries that Niantic is going to introduce in Max Battles is going to be the legendary birds, Articuno, Moltres, and Zapdos. Now, they're going to be in Max Battles, and it's basically going to work out just like any other Max Battle. You just have to battle these Pokemon, and then you will have a chance to obtain them. The only thing is, they're going to be very difficult compared to other Max Battles, and that's something you should keep in mind. Now, each of these legendary Pokemon are going to be introduced into the Max Battle rotation through a Max Monday. Dynamax Articuno is going to be on Monday, January 20th, Dynamax Zapdos is going to be the following Monday on January 27th, and then Dynamax Moltres is going to be in Max Battles on February 3rd. Max Mondays are happening every Monday between 6 o'clock p.m. and 7 o'clock p.m. local time, and you absolutely do not want to miss these events. Now, Niantic is also going to be introducing certain Dynamax Pokemon that you could obtain so that you are better prepared to take them down. Between January 20th and January 27th, you're going to see Dynamax Charmander, Beldum, and Scorbunny in Max Battles, and all three of these are hard counters to Dynamax Articuno. And then between January 27th and February 3rd, you're going to have Bulbasaur, Cryogonal, and Grookey, and almost for the same reasons, these are all counters to Dynamax Zapdos. And then finally, from February 3rd until February 10th, you're going to have Squirtle, Krabby, and Sobble in Max Battles, and all three of these are counters to Dynamax Moltres. Also, something you need to keep in mind is that after the Dynamax Legendary is introduced through a Max Monday, they're going to be a part of the rotation for the given weeks. And since this is going to be the introduction of legendaries into Max Battles, I can almost guarantee that in the future, we're going to see even more legendaries make their way into Max Battles, and the best way to prepare for that is by collecting any of these legendary birds. They're definitely going to help in those future Max Battles. So yeah, there's so many benefits to them adding legendary birds into the Dynamax system, mainly because I do think this is going to generate a lot of interest back into Max Battles. And one of the main benefits is that it's going to make Max Mondays something that players will no longer want to ignore. And I think that's a big thing because when it comes to Max Mondays, they were basically meant to be the weekly event for players to engage in if they really cared about Max Battles. The problem is, not a lot of players do care about Max Battles, so these Max Mondays tend to fall by the wayside. But now that you can get legendary Pokemon from these Max Battles and you do not need to spend money with raid passes, I think this definitely changes things up because for a lot of people, they might want to get certain legendaries, whether it be for the candies or whether it be to get themselves 100% IVs, and this is going to be a free-to-play method for them to get a lot more of those legendaries. And yeah, you cannot ignore that, because when it comes to getting legendary Pokemon, they've taken away a lot of the free-to-play methods that we used to have in the past, and they've made it so that you essentially have to raid in order to get legendaries, and that was something that was incredibly unpopular for them to do. But now that they introduced them into max battles, it's essentially going to be some form of players to get these legendaries if they do not want to spend raid passes or spend a whole bunch of money getting a bunch of Pokecoins. So yeah, chalk that up as a huge win. I do think that introducing legendary Pokemon into max battles is only going to benefit Pokemon Go in several different ways. Now, there is one caveat when it comes to this, and that is the fact that in order to take down these legendary Pokemon, you will likely need a whole bunch of people in order to take them down. Considering that when it comes to Gigantamax Battles, you need to have about 40 trainers at that location battling at the same time in order to feasibly take those down. Yeah, this is definitely going to be annoying for a lot of those smaller communities, especially those who live in rural areas. It's going to be really difficult to take these down, I can almost guarantee it. You will likely need a really high number of trainers, and then at the same time there needs to be a lot of coordination, people going in around the same time and different things like that. So yeah, this could definitely cause a lot of headaches, and I do predict that there's going to be some backlash around this being a thing, and I just really hope it ends up panning out, because as of right now, Niantic has not done much in order to improve quality of life when it comes to the max battle system, and in general, they haven't really introduced enough Pokemon to get players to actually take down some of the hardest forms of content. So yeah, hopefully this will change things up, because having legendary Pokemon in Dynamax battles, that will allow you to take down certain Gigantamax battles a little bit easier, but getting these legendaries in the first place may prove to be really difficult for a lot of trainers. So yeah, I really hope it ends up working out. We'll just have to wait and see how it all pans out when these actually debut. But yeah, I do think this was a step in the right direction, and hopefully Niantic and Pokemon Go players will see the benefits of them. But in any case, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know your thoughts regarding the introduction of legendary Pokemon into max battles down below. Are you in favor of Niantic adding legendary Pokemon, or do you feel like this is not enough to get you interested in max battles? Definitely share all those thoughts in the comments down below, and let's have a great discussion. Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if it's your first time here, and don't forget that notification bell so you can stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. And real quick, let me give a shout out to all my patrons on Patreon. You all make this channel content possible. If you want to support the Jinsula channel, the best way you could do so is by joining my Patreon, the links to which are in the description below. If you join my Patreon and become a paid Patreon member, you will get the added benefit of having a permanent spot on my in-game Pokemon Go friends list. And when it comes to stuff like remote raids and the friendship system, I will always prioritize my patrons. So if you want to play Pokemon Go with me, do consider joining my Patreon. And if you want to support my channel in a completely different way, you could do so by following me on social media. My handle is @Jinsula. I'm on the platforms that you see on the bottom of your screen. Make sure you go over there and give me a follow, and you'll have access to some exclusive content. And that's going to be it for this video. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself, and I'll catch you all later.